So I kiss the morning air. I'm not starting
Fly
with
away.
that. Welcome to Church Jams Now. Guys, check this out. Are you ready? You ready?
Church Jams Now.
Welcome to Church Jams Now, the podcast in which three former youth group kids and current music nerds deep dive into Christian music from the 90s and 2000s. This is... oh no, I forgot my name. I had it.
You're so close.
I was too invested in the NPR voice. I lost it.
Is
it.
that
I am
what
your...
that was?
Yes.
That was your NPR voice.
Welcome to Church Jams Now. Church Jams Now is brought to you by listeners like you, as well as Collide Records.
Collide Records. Purveyors of excellent vinyl everywhere.
Yeah, we're starting off silly, man. I am your co-host, Kylan Savage. The other gentle, sultry voice that you hear is Mr. TJ Smith.
Hello, it's wonderful to be with you tonight.
And remaining oddly silent is our beautiful producer, Josh Olson.
Hey guys, waiting for my introduction before I start talking.
How very patient of you. Great job,
so
Josh.
much.
There's no way we can start this episode with that kind of energy.
I know. I'm gonna cut all of this.
Don't
Oh.
cut it.
My power's flickering. I might lose power.
Woohoo!
We got a crazy snowstorm, so guys, hey, welcome. We haven't done, it's been so long in my brain since we've done a part A without a guest that I don't know what to do.
What we even
How do we do
about
this?
Yeah, what are we talking about this week, guys?
Did we talk about music on this show, guys?
I think so. Something
What do we
like
talk
that.
about? Okay.
I'm pretty
I
sure
don't
somebody's
know.
getting married.
I don't know.
Bum,
Uh,
bum,
dun,
ba-dum.
dun, 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 dun,
Wait, that's
dun, dun.
graduation.
Oh shit! You can get married to that song.
Did you play
Josh
that at
started
your
the right
wedding?
one,
Did you?
and then you went with the wrong one,
Yeah.
and he let you do it too. He stopped.
I was like, maybe that's the extended intro. I don't know. You know,
Pomp,
you were
Pomp
right.
and Circumstance. Is that right?
that's the pre-gap track of it. If you rewind it, it has the extended intro where it starts that
Oh.
way.
Right.
Yeah. Just like
Right. That was back in the
How
day
About
when
the
you
Aftermath.
you graduated and then you got married like right after.
that's true.
So it was just like wham,
This
bam,
is-
thanks, man.
Going off the rails, Josh. I need you to save me.
Okay.
This is what
Guys.
happens when we do part A's at the end of the night.
It's true. Well, we've had an exciting night so far, and we're only continuing it because we're going to be talking about the wedding.
The wedding.
The wedding and the self-titled record of the wedding, which is one of Kylan's wishlist records.
Woo!
Was it really? Is that why we're doing it?
Yeah, bro.
He doesn't remember. That's
Yes.
the
Dude,
best.
I don't
It
remember
is.
any. Remember 30 seconds ago, I didn't remember what this show is. Of course, I don't remember any of my wish list records. Yes, okay.
That's why
this
I
is
wrote
a
them down.
huge record for me.
Why?
Well, do we want to get into that? Do we want to talk about the wedding a little bit more? Do we want to? How does our show go? Josh, help me out, please.
I can do research now or later, whenever you want to. But why don't
I
I,
feel
just
like
get
you're-
it? Oh, wait, sorry,
Sorry.
what, TJ?
I was gonna say I feel like you're really excited, Kylan.
Yeah,
we
I
need to
am
like
really
get
excited.
your energy out, like
Yeah.
share it with the world.
Okay.
It's
Dude,
beautiful.
tell us why.
We want it.
Guys, this is a huge record for me. And okay, so full disclosure, part of the reason why I think we're a little punchy, we started the night with an interview with Kevin Keane from The Wedding, which
we
is
did.
coming out.
Oh, the album we're talking about?
Yes.
Josh, you were
Whoa.
there, man.
That's cool how that worked out.
Who did you think we were talking to? What do you think is happening?
was that guy?
You act like you're not this like mathematical organizational mastermind of this whole
puppeteer
entire show. You
behind
are.
the curtain.
I am just much like our previous guest Cortland Coffee. I am just a boy on a string.
Nice. Very nice.
I don't know if this
Great
callback
callback.
will make sense by the time this episode comes out.
No telling.
But
I
yeah,
enjoyed
yeah.
it.
So we just interviewed Kevin, and that episode is coming out shortly after this one.
And it was so
Mhm.
good.
So
What
It
a
was
great
so
conversation.
good. It was like really inspiring. It like
Yeah.
He's
I don't
an
know. I
awesome
love
dude.
these interviews that. Excuse me. I love these interviews that we do, like where we get a lot of personal stories, but a lot of times just like hearing each artist's personal ethos. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like that is like so huge, and just having that level of connection is really cool.
And it fires you up as an artist too. It's like,
Yeah,
oh,
like
man.
after that, I'm like, I
I'm gonna
don't
go write some music.
exactly. That's what I was gonna say. I just want to go work on some music with my buddies.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, focus. Start over. No more
Bring it
bits,
back.
guys. No more bits.
No bits.
There've been no bits on
New
this
year, no
episode.
bits.
New year, no bits. I'm really excited about this record. This was a really big deal for me. And I know this is like a relatively smaller record compared to
that's
like
it,
some of
'cause
the some of the
most
ones we've
people I
talked
think
about.
like and when it comes to the wedding, like I think most people love Polarity.
Polarity, yep.
For sure.
But
And I
is-
do too, but I have a very personal connection in that the wedding is from Northwest Arkansas, and I moved to Northwest Arkansas in middle school in 8th grade. This was right around the time that I was like first being introduced to like good music. You know, like not that I was listening to bad music before, but like I remember being in Florida and all that stuff before. It was like Newsboys, and that was it, you know?
Mm.
And then when we moved to Arkansas is where I bought Two Lefts Don't Make a Right, but Three Do. Like that, I was at that age where I was like just starting to figure out that there's more than worship music and Breakfast by Newsboys, not Breakfast the Meal, the song.
Did you get 3 square meals a day, Kylan?
Who knows, man? Who knows?
Just checking on.
No, I for the sake of Tiffany Savage, yes, I was fed and clothed and housed.
I'm sure she appreciates you
loved.
saying that.
But okay, so before they were the wedding, the band was Easier Said,
Mm-hmm.
and they played at my church a lot because they were part of my church somehow. They were like older high school guys, post high school, and I was in the youth group. And I remember when their first record came out, they came and played not at our youth group, but at Big Church. They came and performed "Move This City," and I thought it was so cool because it was a Southern Baptist church, so it's like, you know, everyone's wearing button downs and slacks or dresses or whatever, and then these guys
Just
come
brought
on
it.
stage with like skinny jeans and like the white belts and the tight t-shirts and the black painted nails, and I was like, what is this? This is so rad.
I love it.
Like, it was a big moment for me. Like, we talked about it very briefly in our interview with Kevin, but I thought I did a good job of keeping my cool
Yeah,
and
you
remaining
did. You did.
relatively
Very
professional. But I'm hoping he never listens to this episode because I like lost
gonna
my
gush.
mind. Yeah, dude, I wanted to be
Gush away, you know.
like
Yeah.
I wanted to be the wedding. That was like, and then they played at the music hall, which was like so freaking cool. I went and saw him play like a bunch of times, and they just like, his voice is so good. It's like so that like perfect
Yeah.
emo pop punk kind of thing that I wanted to do so bad, which I could not do for 10 years because when my voice changed post puberty, I went from like singing an alto to like a low bass. And I could not sing. I could not do the like emo pop punk vocal thing.
Yeah, it's quite a
which
jump.
always bummed me out. Yeah.
That's a bummer.
Yeah, but this album was my alarm clock for all of 9th grade.
Nice.
It was like I had one of those CD players that you could like program
Oh,
Yep.
nice.
to like turn on at
I remember
certain
those.
times. And so like going to school, this album like played like to wake me up, and then all through my like morning routine.
So you kept the same CD in your CD player that whole time, so that every morning it would start with the same song.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
That's commitment.
It wasn't just
I
like you could
respect
just
that.
like program like, oh, to this song, like you can these days. Like you had to keep
Right.
that
Yeah,
physical
no, I
CD
had
in
the
there.
physical CD that I only listened to in my room.
Amazing.
Yeah, dude.
That's
So, what do you guys think? I don't know if this album's going to be a flop or a bop. Who knows?
Whoa. Way too early to be a flop or bop.
Well, I know,
Way
but
too
obviously
early.
I've been speaking for 12 minutes straight about how incredible and life-changing this band was for me. So, thought I might as well get my part out of the way.
Yeah, sure. Go for it. This is your episode, man.
Yeah, man.
It's going to be a bop. It's going to be a bop. All right, what do you guys know about the wedding?
TJ,
I mean,
enlighten me.
I
wanna hear about it.
yeah, so I love the wedding. I am that person that was kind of like more into Polarity. I think because I actually only vaguely knew about them as a band and didn't listen to, if I remember right, didn't listen to their self-titled album that we're covering on this episode all the way through for a long time. I'm pretty sure I only like listened to a few different tracks. I think like I want to say somebody like had the CD in their car and I heard it and I was like, this is cool, but never really like investigated it, so never really got to the bottom of like, oh, this is a whole album by this band and I'll listen to it front to back. And or
Right.
I want to say maybe a few tracks got put on a mix CD for me with some other bands of the same time, the same era and the same genre. And then when Polarity came out, I think I dug back into this album after.
Well, Polarity was like their big album. This
Yeah.
still feels like I have such a personal connection to it because they were still kind of like a local band.
Right. You had this like
When
deep
when this came
kind
out.
of like connection to them and an understanding of them
Right.
as a local entity.
And then Polarity felt like they're like big. They were more like nationally.
Yeah, and actually,
when that
I'll
came
just
out.
go ahead and say like, I think the Sound of Steel is my favorite offering of theirs.
Really?
I think it is incredible, and it's like 5 songs or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't tell you off the top of my head, but like I wore that CD out. I had that CD and like I listened to the crap out of that thing.
That's so good.
Yeah, but just a big fan in general. So I'm excited to jump into this album, but definitely less context and less nostalgia. I have no
Right,
like morning
right.
memories of like being jolted awake by the sound of Kevin's sweet dulcet tones.
Right.
That's you, buddy.
I know. I
And I love it.
total just fan. I can't remain objective. I get now because I've been able to maintain a level of objectivity thus far on this show. I've been like pretty proud of myself of like so much of the music that we have covered. I've been at least somewhat able to like, okay, let's think about this objectively. And this is my first real like nostalgia bop. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm very glad for that because there are some records coming up later in the year that I picked for my wish list that are going to be like 100% nostalgia bops that I'm going to like drag y'all into listening to. So
Now you've got
not that
this.
you're doing
more
that
Pillar?
here.
Are we doing
but
more Pillar?
Oh no.
more of it. So I'm excited to just like see you in this like nostalgia
Bliss mode.
Fanboy
frenzied
mode?
state. Yeah, it's fun. It's
It
fun.
is. It is fun.
That's what this
Yeah.
podcast is about.
I'm here for it.
You know.
Well, yeah. So, Josh, I want to know your experience with the wedding, and then I do want to hear the research. I
I've got
feel like
some- yeah.
I'm excited about that.
Okay, so the weird thing is that the wedding somehow just like missed me. Like I knew about them. I think I knew about them a little bit later, but like so much to the extent that I haven't listened to this record that we're covering right now, but I had to because I didn't want to listen to it before we did this episode. But I did listen to Polarity because I was like, surely I know some of these songs, and I do remember "Say Your Prayers." Like I remember hearing that on like Power FM.
Oh yeah.
But like other than that, I was like, I don't like, and it wasn't until I got to like college, I think, where because I kind of grew. I was like in my own like music bubble in high school. No one, hardly anyone I knew listened to the same kind of music I did, so I didn't have anyone being like, listen to this band kind of stuff.
Right.
It wasn't until I got to college that people were like, oh yeah, I love the wedding kind of stuff, which I feel like it's a very DBU thing to be like, I'm into the wedding.
Right.
But I was like, oh, I kind of know them, but I missed them somehow, and
Interesting.
I kind of am sad now because I listened to Polarity. I'm like, I would have loved this in high school. Like, it's a bummer. I'm enjoying it now. I still am getting into it, but yeah. So for some reason, the wedding kind of just missed me. I didn't know outside of like Say Your Prayers and maybe a song on this record that I'll hear.
Well, in that
when
case,
we listen
Josh,
to it this next
I'm
week.
really excited to hear what you think of this self-titled album. Like,
Yeah, I'm excited to get into it.
Yeah, and we'll do a polarity episode eventually because that's the and it's weird because I'm not as familiar with that record, and that's like their big record.
You were the contrarian.
It wasn't that I was a contrarian, but like by the time that came out, because I was talking about this earlier today, like my sort of musical experience journey like happened very fast, like going from that, like 2005 was like a big year for me because it was literally like I bought Two Lefts Don't Make a Right, I bought The Wedding, and then a friend burned me a copy of Tell All Your Friends by Taking Back Sunday, and it just like exploded, and I just like started listening to everything to the point where I almost by 2007 had kind of moved past a lot of the more like standard emo pop punk kind of thing, and I was getting into like more like Death Cab for Cutie, and then on the other side also getting into like As Blood Runs Black. And so it was just like I was becoming ironically like more polarized in my the things that interested me musically, so I didn't listen to it as much
because you're saying it was like more in the middle. And
yeah,
you were like
I think
on
so.
these
Like
disparate
it was,
sides as opposed to like hanging out in
right. It's like I either wanted like incredibly rough lo-fi shitty hardcore or I wanted like Ben Gibbard's soft dulcet tones and an acoustic guitar. You know what I mean? Like yeah. I might have, I'm gonna have to look after this. I'm pretty sure I have a DVD that was ripped from a like camcorder of The Truth About Movie Stars second show ever at the music hall.
No way.
Opening for The Wedding.
That's awesome.
And I know Kevin like I'm 99% sure that I still have footage of this somewhere.
That's very cool.
Where I opened for The Wedding very early on because I remember it was our second like full band show, and we got to open for The Wedding, which was like a huge
amazing
deal.
A good way to
for
start
me at
your
the time.
career.
So yeah. Well, I mean, I started off like my very first official Truth About Movie Stars show, which was just me acoustic, was opening for Bradley Hathaway and Listener.
Oh yeah,
strong start
at the music hall,
right?
As well.
Yeah,
and no one was
like
there
stacked.
but my dad.
Dang, man, that's wild.
Okay, Josh, let's hear some facts. I'm sorry, I feel like I'm like railroading everybody on this episode, but
no, you're good.
This is your dream
good.
volume. We're just here to
very excited.
float along with you.
Very
I'm
excited.
enjoying it. You know, it's great.
Okay, all right.
It's not a ton of facts. I'll go through them quickly. The Wedding, originally from Fayetteville, Arkansas, as we've discussed before, as your connection. Their career was from 2003 to 2015. The members for this record are Kevin Keane, who we have an interview coming up very soon. Very great. He did lead vocals and piano, and he was with the band from 2003 to 2007. And then Trevor Sarver played guitar in The Wedding the whole time. Cody Driggers played bass and did some background vocals, and the whole time in The Wedding. He also, after The Wedding, I guess it wasn't, maybe it was like while The Wedding was still technically a band, but he started playing bass in Project 86. Probably in like 2010, 2011 or whatever. So I saw him at a couple of P86 shows, and I would like talk to him and stuff like that. And then Clint Robinson played drums on this record from 2003 to 2006 with The Wedding. This record that we were talking about, they're self-titled. So the thing is, we talked to Kevin about this because I've seen two different dates for the release date. Is that some sites online have February 15th of 2005 and some have April 5th of 2005. We're just going to move forward that it is definitively, we're going to say on this show, for better or for worse, it was April 5th, 2005.
Well, the thing is, no one else is saying it, and Kevin just, like, he gave us the go-ahead.
Yeah.
So let's just say...
Kevin says, we're rewriting history,
Kevin.
but I think it's correct. I think it's correct.
Let's go with it.
From the sites, it's reputably I got some sources. So we are airing this episode on the 18th anniversary of this record, which is fun for me. I like doing stuff like that. Great time to listen to the record, revisit it. This is, of course, their debut record. They were on a little label called Rambler Records, who you will get to hear more about that story in greater detail from Kevin. And you'll also hear more greater detail about the producer on this record, who is Mark Lee Townsend, who, if you aren't aware, produced almost every Relient K record. Like Kevin said, discovered Relient K. He's produced Run Kid Run, House of Heroes. He was the DC Talk Live guitarist for years. So that's a big name to have for your first record, which is a great story.
Yep.
So I won't steal too much of his thunder.
Yep.
That's really it. Spotify stats is like Morning Air is like the most popular song from this record. But other than that, like their other two later records are definitely like seem to be the more popular ones. And then all songwriting credits are by The Wedding. So that's all I got for research.
Sweet. Okay. So I guess, we already did our sort of like connections to The Wedding. So should we go into flop or bop predictions?
Let's do it.
Well, okay. I don't need to. But what do you guys think?
You set us up for that, man.
Yeah.
I
pulled a Josh.
You did. I'll go. I think I'm gonna bop this one.
Really?
I'll be honest. I'm not super confident about a bop if I'm real, because I think in the same way that you are leaning heavily on nostalgia for your bop, Kylan, because like I said, I didn't have as much exposure to these songs, and I fell in love with Polarity and then super liked The Sound of Steel. I feel like it might be going back to it in 2023. I think I'm gonna like it, but I think it's just gonna be like a kind of like a quaint bop. I think I'm gonna call it that.
I think I think it's gonna sound.
We've never had a quaint bop on the show. I don't think
that's true.
Yes.
There's another qualifier.
I'm excited.
Category.
Add it to the list.
That's right.
I think it's gonna sound like a first record,
right? And that
from the early mid 2000s, like emo pop punk.
Yep.
It's gonna sound really young. It's gonna sound like a bunch of dudes right out of high school or in high school. And you're either gonna vibe with it or not.
Right.
You know what I mean? So your quaint bop prediction makes sense.
Right. And I think it is that kind of like the kind of more maybe scrappy songwriting and performance, which in a lot of ways can be really charming and kind of fun and bring some energy.
Yeah.
So I think it might, but I think also some of those things might, for me, take points off of it. And that's why I think it'll kind of nestle it right into quaint bop territory.
Right.
But
that makes sense. Josh, what about you?
It's good. I like that. Yeah, I think I'm with TJ on this, is that I'm not going in completely blind. I'm going into this record blind, but I really am enjoying. I've listened to Polarity a couple times in the last couple weeks. I've been really enjoying it. So I don't have anything it's one of those things I don't have any direct nostalgia, but I think just listening to just the sound of this record and the band and the music, it's I don't have personal nostalgia, but I feel I'm gonna have retroactive nostalgia for it.
Nostalgia for the time.
Yeah, because I'll be I didn't
yeah.
listen to this, but I know exactly when this was, and I think I'm gonna really enjoy that. Whereas some of the songwriting may not be quite to the level that it was on Polarity, because it's a first record. These guys are all super
guys,
young.
there's a song on this record that's called Death by Zanga,
I
which
saw that.
is such a signifier of the time period in which it came out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I think we're technically some of the songwriting weaknesses, just because they're super young, and I think those will get smoothed over just because of a fondness for that time and just that music. But we do have Mark Lee Townsend. It's not gonna
totally
sound bad. We have Mark Lee Townsend at the board, so I'm
right.
at least it's gonna sound really good because it's Mark producing it. So I'm excited. I'm gonna say a bop.
Nice.
Okay.
All right, 3 bops.
Yeah. Okay. It's it's not a long record, but 12 songs for a first record.
42 minutes. Yeah.
42 minutes is
which
it
they
ain't
played
short,
a lot
baby.
of songs, because there's 14 on Polarity, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well,
That's a lot.
I feel like this is still the time where the 12 to 16-ish track list was more like
16
standard.
sounds like so much now.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It is crazy to
Okay,
think about.
so we're going to take a little break, and you're going to listen to some ads. And when we come back, we are going to pull a Stephen Curtis Chapman and dive right in to 2005's The Wedding.
Bum bum ba-dum bum 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 ba-da-da-bum-bum.
Wait, now I-
I'm trying to think of what the other one is.
It's the Olympics. That was the Olympics.
Oh my God.
I wanted to do a third incorrect.
That's so good. That's so good.
It's like the Arrested Development chicken impression.
Yeah,
We all just have our
exactly.
own.
Yeah. All right. I think that's it. Hey, Josh.
What are you doing, man?
Oh, I'm just shopping for TJ's birthday.
It's coming up in August. So you're getting a head
That's
start.
true. I like to stay ahead.
It'll be here before you know it.
Guess what I'm looking for TJ's birthday?
What? I need some ideas.
Here's what I think you should do, because it's what I'm going to do. If anyone has listened to our Christmas episode, you should know that TJ is a huge Sufjan Stevens fan. And I found out that on colliderecords.com, he's got like a massive library of Sufjan Stevens records for sale.
Oh, wow. You're right. There's a ton on here.
He has A Beginner's Mind.
So many records.
4th of July, 7-inch single.
And there's the Christmas vinyl box set, which we talked about. The Songs for Christmas 1 through 5. That's got
Yeah, and it's got like the comic and stuff in there.
It's a lot.
Unfortunately, TJ already has that one, but it is pretty cool that it's
Okay.
available. I might get him. I don't know if he has Seven Swans, but that's a Sufjan record that I can actually like get down with.
Which I feel like that's a good gift because then it's like one that you're into and you can share
Yeah,
with him.
and hey, guess what? The best part is if I type in Church Jams Now at checkout, I get 20% off. And TJ doesn't have to know. He gets a beautiful gift, and I got to save 20% off of vinyl.
And we get to support our favorite record store,
That
Collide
is
Records.
very true.
Everyone wins.
Literally everyone wins.
Kylan, is that download code exclusive just for like you and me?
It's just
Like,
it's just
because
for
we're-
me. Yeah.
Oh,
Unfortunately,
okay.
it's just for me. No, I'm kidding, man. All of our listeners.
Oh, phew.
This is taking a turn for the cheesy in a way that I love. It's like those Life commercials, or is it from Connect 4? He's like, "Pretty sneaky, sis." Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna add some like 1950s commercial ad music underneath this.
Yes. That's perfect.
But yeah, man, CollideRecords.com has been our first big sponsor and legitimately one of the coolest companies I could think of to partner with, because they have like an incredible catalog of vinyl and CDs and all kinds of music that we talk about on this show. If you go and you find something that you like if you, our listener, are looking for a birthday present for TJ or for someone else in checkout, if you type in the promo code ChurchJamsNow, all one word, you get 20% off your purchase, which is absolutely incredible.
Oh yeah, and you can find popular stuff, anything that you could want to find anywhere else, but also some like real good deep cuts. If you really need to like complete like this one obscure part of your collection, he might have it. Like they might have it.
Like, where else are you gonna find Run Rabbit Run in the like Sufjan catalog on vinyl? And it's only $30 plus 20% off if you type in Church Jams Now.
Look at that. You could get a whole catalog. You just select all, put all these vinyls in the cart. All these Sufjan records, if you bought them from Collide, it'd probably show up on a pallet because of how
For
many
real.
records there are. There's a lot of records. Sufjan has a lot, and Collide also has a lot.
So, you know what? I'm going to say it one more time as we end this. If you go to colliderecords.com, type in Church Jams Now as a promo code as you're checking out, you get 20% off. All right, I think that's it. Hope TJ likes this present. Let's get back to the show. Okay, welcome back to Church Jams Now. Hope you enjoyed more of our voices telling you about some sweet records and stuff.
Woohoo!
So we are back, guys, and we are going to dive into the Wedding self-titled record. Are we ready to do this?
Oh
Bum,
yeah.
Bum, ba, bum, 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 bum. That's still the Olympic
Yeah.
theme. It is
this
not a wedding
Bum,
song.
bum, 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 bum,
Da,
bum,
da,
bum,
da,
it.
da, da,
bum,
the
bum,
wedding.
That's it. That's what my wife walked down the aisle to. Yep.
I knew it.
That is the
Ugh.
wedding march.
Good job.
The Imperial Wedding March.
That's the objectively
Damn.
correct choice.
Cool. All right, guys. Well, do we have any other general thoughts about the record before we go track by track?
I did just want to say we've done a couple really long episodes. A couple of like 3 of our last 4 episodes have been pretty long, and I am looking forward to this because I don't think it will be.
Just you wait, Josh.
I'll be
Just
very surprised
watch.
if we
TJ's
get
gonna
very
throw a wrench in
long-winded.
this because I texted Josh earlier today and I was like, well, without giving my hand away too much, I was like, well, since basically every song is the exact same song, I imagine we'll get through this pretty quickly. And then here's TJ like gonna throw a wrench in the whole thing.
Couple beers and a mezcal in. Played a
for
show
real.
tonight. I'm feeling frisky.
All right.
Post-show
Well,
vibes.
Yeah, it is, we'll see. It's a kind of a long record, but it's also not in a lot of ways.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
All right. Let's start with track number 1, Morning Air.
So I kiss the morning air and fly away. I used to hold you close, but now you pick your friends. They're the closest you will ever be to me.
This is like the perfect, like you were saying, to wake up to. It's like that's like the perfect way to open up because like starts with his voice and it's
Exactly.
the morning air. Like, oh
Yeah.
wow,
Yeah,
So
kiss the
so
morning air and fly away. This,
No,
how
it's a great-
apropos.
this is a
Yeah.
great album opener.
Truly.
I do really enjoy when songs start with just vocals.
Yeah.
Yeah, that feels kind of rare.
Mhm.
You know, like it shows a level of confidence in your singer's ability. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Like-
especially like a debut record. Like the first thing we're gonna feature is Kevin's voice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Belief in the vocalist and restraint on the musician's part, which I think are
Mhm.
both like really great qualities to have in the production scope. When you're approaching an album, to lead with that, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Also, the chorus, it's so like cathartic, it's so straight ahead, and then on
Yeah.
the backside, it's got that punk beat pattern that just is like, I don't know, man, it's dopamine straight to my brain.
I mean, you can see why like 14-year-old Kylan just like loved this record, right?
Oh,
like
yeah,
it's-
absolutely. Even like 2023 Kylan, I feel like
Oh
I
yeah,
mean,
dude,
like-
this song makes it on every like pump it up playlist that I ever
Yes.
make, This has some sweet bass, you guys.
yeah,
Oh,
it-
it does.
It's like it's not doing anything special, but I love
No.
where it is in the mix.
yeah, it's not like hidden. It's right where it needs to be.
Yeah, dude.
And those like, are those pinch harmonics? What's happening there?
I think it's just a harmonic.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's just like when you hit the harmonic, kind of like the 3rd fret, and it
Yes.
kind of does that weird kind of feedbacky
Mhm.
sound.
Oh, it's so good.
Oh
I
yeah,
love it.
I will say this has been a little bit of a theme as of late in Church Jams now, in terms of a couple of our guests have brought up like mishearing lyrics.
Yeah.
And I have one in this
What do you got?
song that I misheard for years and
Ooh,
just didn't
can't
know
wait.
until this listen, like for this episode. In the second verse, he talks
Mhm.
about curbside clutter.
Yes.
He's like, the pieces of our relationship become nothing more than curbside clutter.
clutter. Yep.
But the way he sings clutter, he says clutter. And I don't know what I heard in the first part, but I heard letter instead of clutter.
Curbside
Like-
letters. Like the letters that you see.
Curved
I thought it was
letter.
like curved
yeah.
back letter.
Yeah,
Like
I
a
can see
curved,
that.
like a cursive letter,
Oh,
like a curved
okay.
back letter.
Curved
I don't
back
know.
letter. Sure. I thought
Which
maybe
could
it was
also
like
make sense.
the fire lane, like the letters on the curb. Like,
Oh,
don't park here. Handicap.
It works both ways.
Fire-
It always
fire
ultimately
trucks.
leads you back to the curb.
That's very true.
Yeah.
And
That's
those
great.
are all the notes I had on this song.
Nice. I wanted to say the riff on the bridge made me think of like Nikki FM, Hawthorne Heights, or very like Taking Back Sunday. It's very emo. Like the sort of tone.
Yes.
The part itself feels it leans into that kind of emotive space.
For sure. You can just call it emo. It's okay. There's no shame here.
Oh yeah, no, it's not. It's not shame. It's I actually feel like that type of guitar is emotive. Right. Like I think it takes you to a different pocket of emotional space than like the punk pop happy peppy kind of thing.
For sure.
But you're right. I'll just call it emo from now on.
It's just emo, dude. It's just
emo,
some
man.
straight up good down home old fashioned emo.
Some Arkansas emo.
Arkansas emo, baby. And the lyrics are like super fun, if not like super deep. They're effective. They're spot on. They work. The photograph imagery is like really effective.
Right.
The flying thing is like, you think about paper, like photographs flying in the wind.
Yeah, I thought,
from a relationship.
Lyrically, kind of what Kevin did. So the reason we keep referring to him by his first name is we just had an interview with him.
We just chatted with him, which was the best.
It was. The
It
best.
probably is skewing my view of this record. In all honesty, it is.
Yeah, I know. We maybe shouldn't have interviewed him before if we wanted like a true, like a scientifically objective, like empirically objective.
Just call it context,
view.
man.
Yeah.
It's just context.
So I had problems with some of his lyrics, but he did it is like super emo, which is like a little on the nose, but in a way that like me as like a 14, 15-year-old could like really understand. Like there's just enough like cinematic language and like metaphor that I could get behind. I could like understand. I could wrap my brain around.
Totally.
Josh, you've been oddly quiet on Morning Air.
I've
What
just
are your
been letting
thoughts?
y'all go. I like it. I said this is fun, solid opener. I do really like in the bridge that where the kick and the bass are locking in together. That's really good. The rhythm section I'll mention it a couple times, but the rhythm section, I think Clint and then Cody, they're a tight rhythm section. They got some really good moments on this record together.
Yes. Oh,
so,
thank you.
And then I really do like one of my favorite parts from the song is the halftime that they start at like 3:08, and they just like and they keep that halftime going like the rest of the song. They go back into the chorus, and every time like you feel like they'll do half the chorus, and you're like, do you feel like this is where they go back into full time? But they just keep it halftime. And I was like, that's a cool move,
I wanted to ask about that actually, because I think where I land is I don't like it, if I'm honest. I don't think it's a wrong choice. I think it's just, for me personally, I want the like punk beat to come back so bad that like I don't like that they stick with the halftime feel, but I can definitely respect it because it does feel like an intentional choice, and it feels like they're really trying to like land the song. Right. Which feels more like thoughtful.
And it does kind of feel like they're slowing it down. Like we're ending the song, so we're not going to like get back up again so we can bring it down kind of thing.
Yes, completely. Yeah, I think my music brain was like wanting the punk beat to come back. And then my sort of thematic brain was like, no, this is okay.
Yeah, it
so there
ends
was like
in like a
war.
Bigger kind of washier way, which is cool. Yeah,
totally.
No, I liked it.
Cool. Well,
nice.
let's go ahead and move on to track number 2. Move This City.
Super catchy licks, y'all.
I know.
And the weird like phaser-y flanger.
With the weird like
kind of effect.
phaser, like chorus
they love
guitar.
that.
It's almost like it's like minor key in the way that like Godsmack or someone is. Like it's definitely not as heavy, but it's got that kind of like late 90s like alt rock kind of thing.
Yeah, it's like Broadway and off Broadway. This is like not metal. It's like off metal.
Off metal. Yeah.
It's not even new metal. It's like off new metal.
Right.
Off new off
Post tool.
Post,
like
punk.
like
Exactly.
That's good.
No, but it's so good. Also, is this Super Chick's song about getting back up again?
It might
Again?
be.
This is the better version of it.
34 and a half times?
Oh, it's funny. Sorry, before we do that, I wanted to go back to your off Broadway thing. I didn't realize my next note is this is fun, fake heavy.
Yes.
Oh wow.
Like
Exactly.
It's like it feels like it's kind of heavy, but it's like it's not at all.
It's not. Yeah. They really balance that throughout this album. That's one thing that I continued to really compliment of The Wedding is like their ability to kind of like when Kevin shared with us, like they really towed the line between like the metal scene and like the punk pop scene, and like they were hanging out with all kinds of metal bands and metal fans and all of that, and you know we'll get into that in our episode down the road, but I just want to say this is a great precursor to that because this album proves they were really hanging out in those spaces, like that liminal space between the punk pop and the metal worlds.
It's my classic definition of screamo.
Yeah,
because I feel like screamo is in a way like it's a term that gets kind of thrown around without being fully understood. And this to me is like quintessential screamo. It's primarily like pop punk emo with a little bit of screaming in like really strategic places and some
riffy
relatively
stuff.
Like heavier moments, but not like straight up breakdowns, you know?
Right. I like that.
There is some screaming in the song, and I like it when it comes in. It's a good little accent that it adds.
And that chorus is so hooky, y'all. Can we just talk about that?
Yep.
Like he's not even really saying much, but it's so good.
I said the whoa-ohs quota has been met on this song. Because, I mean, going into this record, there has to be at least one song that's going to use some whoa-ohs.
This is
pretty
the song
substantial.
Track 2.
Yeah. This is the song that they performed at my church, like in big church.
Nice.
That's good. People can hook into it and sing
exactly.
it back. Like,
and that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Like, all the
Totally.
woes and stuff.
So that bridge or the outro or whatever it is, so choose your battles wisely. Get in line, look around.
Breakdown.
Family is what you'll find. What is he saying there? What do we think? What's our take on it?
So choose your battles wisely. Get in line. Look around. Family is what you'll find. I mean, it seems pretty straightforward to me. Like,
well, just like paint the picture for me, Kylan. What's happening? Are we fighting a battle? Is it like is it a war? And it's like your family is your side.
We're always fighting a spiritual battle, TJ.
Are we?
You know,
Preach.
yeah. I mean,
I might disagree with that premise fundamentally. Actually,
no, but you were part of this like Christian like cultural moment around this time.
But I'm not now, so recontextualize it for me.
I don't want to recontextualize it because this is
great.
what it is.
That's why I asked the question.
That's all he's trying to communicate, I think. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like
totally,
like
and that's exactly why I pointed it out, because I was like, what is happening here, and can it work for me in 2023? I don't know.
No, but
because I don't really want to fight a battle.
What's the other? Yeah, but what's the? I mean, I feel like you always have to choose your battles.
The family part. The family
choose
part.
Your battles on what
for
you're
me.
gonna talk, like what you're really gonna be like. This is what I'm gonna dig
help
in.
You
and
fight your battles, and I mean, regardless of what that is, like you can. I mean, like
yeah, that's fair. It's a good
or
point.
it's important to choose
you
which
can
battles
fight
you
your
fight with
own-
your family. You know, like some
Now
stuff you're
that-
like, I gotta let this slide because if I'm gonna bring up this other thing, I'll have to let that go.
yeah.
Thanksgiving dinner table.
I mean, we're all speaking as like men that have wives and children at various
In-laws.
ages. And the one thing I have told my wife more than anything over the past year with our daughter is like, hey, pick your battles. Like
It's true.
like
So it's
okay,
relevant on a parenting
there may be
level.
marker on like the craft table, but there's not marker on the wall.
There you go.
So like pick your battles. Like
Man.
I only have so much mental energy
See,
to like handle certain things. So,
Dude, you did
I'm
great.
gonna-
You recontextualized that so
All right.
effectively.
Thanks.
Wonderful job.
It works.
Thanks.
Yeah, it's all right. It works for however you want to interpret it.
That's
That's
right.
true.
I just thought that was an interesting line, and I was
That is
like,
an interesting line.
I want to hear their take on it.
Yeah. I also just want to give a shout out to Cody laying down some sweet bass in the verse.
Yes. Oh, I wrote that too. Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. I love the bass on this song too.
Cody Driggers. What a name too.
Also, I love the end of this song. It's like this very like, what did you say? Fake heavy, like
Mm-hmm.
3 and a. It like
Right.
just closes out with this
Oh,
kind of
yeah.
minor riff and like the
Also,
drum hit.
this song is under 3 minutes, which I love
Respect.
because it doesn't feel like it. It doesn't feel like a punk song. Like it's not like blasting
Yeah.
towards the end, but it's like the perfect amount.
Yeah, agreed.
So, all right, guys, let's move on to track number 3. This time I'm leaving.
Wait, Kylan, you're quitting the podcast?
This time I'm quitting the podcast.
And I'll see you in the morning at the break of daylight. But if you wake up and I'm gone, I'll see you on.
I liked the first 2 songs, but when this one came on, I was like, oh yeah, I'm here for this. Like this is a Josh
dude.
song right here.
Why is that?
I don't know. I'm like, I was trying to like figure out why, and I'm like, I don't have like perfect that I can be like, yes, this is this, but I'm like, it kind of gives me a little bit like Jimmy Eat World vibes, maybe a little
I can see
bit.
that,
So like,
for
that's
sure.
probably what I'm keen into, and like, yeah, that's what I want, you know?
Yes, that's interesting because it was at this point in the album that I thought they sound a lot like Dead Poetic Light.
Ooh, you're spot on with that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
They're like happy Dead Poetic. They're like Dead Poetic before they got nihilistic.
ooh, yeah.
Like, I don't know. There's something there. There's a crossover.
No, I think you're right. I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. But I see the Jimmy Eat World parallel as well.
Yeah, it's not like glaring to where I can be like, yes, this is a total Jimmy World move, but I don't know. For some reason, it just gives me some Jimmy World vibes, and I'm here for
Yeah.
it.
Those thick, kind of chunky, wallish guitars.
Yeah, and I think there's like some octave
Soaring
part, like some octave
vocals.
leads kind of thing, a little bit, which Jim
Totally.
does all the time. So
Yeah.
but I know I like this one a lot. It's got some like cool, once again, more like stereo phaser flanger guitar in the verses, which is cool. It gives us some nice like spatial width on the recording and stuff.
Yeah,
like
but
that.
it's fun because he matches that with like in the very beginning, his vocals are very like light. Like I love that falsetto.
Mm.
Then I see
too.
you in the morning.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's so good.
Well, that immediately like hooks
Delicate.
you in. That yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
And
Yeah,
then
it's
because
hooky.
then when he does that same melody like vocal line, but he like does it full voice, you're here for it, you know?
Totally.
Oh yeah.
Because
Because you know it's coming. You're like, oh, he's gonna go high there, and he does, and you're like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There were 2 things on this song that sort of set a tone for me for this album. And it was one, I think they're like a punk pop tone poem. Like as a band. They are that for me. And what I mean by that is no one thing necessarily sticks out in a lot of these songs. And this is a great example. Like this is a case study for what I'm talking about regarding the wedding as a band and this album. They're kind of a punk pop tone poem. All their things add up to this really, really cathartic, fun punk pop like experience.
Mm-hmm.
Super fun, dopamine all day long. Especially the choruses are like super hooky. The lyrics sometimes land. Sometimes I'm like, I don't exactly know what you're saying. Like I think you're saying something, but for me it's kind of vague. But like I can tell you mean it, and so the authenticity there lands, and I'm like, okay, cool. So that overall, like, is the point I want to make. And this song was where it became very obvious for me. This song is also where it became obvious to me that like I don't know if I like a lot of their bridges. I feel like a lot of their bridges feel like they're just like dropped in, at least up until this point.
Interesting.
Whoa.
Okay.
Okay.
So like,
'Cause
Josh seems to disagree greatly.
awesome.
I
Can't wait.
do. I do.
So, like-
I have on a lot of songs. A lot of my notes are this bridge is great. Like,
And I will say there are a few
Ooh,
bridges
I
throughout
like
this
this. I'm
album that
glad.
we haven't gotten to yet that I'm like, the bridge rules. Okay, so to just qualify what I'm about to say, there are exceptions to this, and maybe we'll agree, Josh, on those exceptions. But like, there's a lot of bridges that I'm like, where did this come from? Because like on this one, for example, the guitar riff feels really stagnant and kind of like stalled and stuck, and that's not bad. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but that's kind of the vibe of the guitar line. Then the vocal line is like this kind of happy, melodic, open sound, especially when the harmonies come in. They're very like big and open and like cheerful. And those two things don't square for me personally. Both work individually, I think, and like they're cool, but they don't line up. They don't like track. They don't make sense. And then the bridge within the song as a song structure itself in a larger sense doesn't quite work for me. Not that it's a bad part, but it just feels like it's kind of like.
Do you feel like that's like a big Mark Townsend like machine sort of like dropping in like we need a catchy bridge? Like
maybe. I don't know. I wish I had more context because it could be that where it's like, try this, guys. But I also wonder if it was just like, oh, I guess we need a bridge here, like the band themselves just being like, I guess we need a bridge here. Oh, what if I do this thing? Because I've been there. Like, I've been that guy where I'm like, try this. And then the vocalist is like, okay, try this. And they're both sort of individually really great ideas. But I don't know if they like,
I wonder if the thing is because I think I tend to side with Josh a little more on this, but I wonder if what you're kind of pushing against is that formulaic is not the right word, but it like the wedding, especially on this record and on Polarity, and you know, if listeners listen to Kevin's interview after this, I think they'll get a sense that like, because they like practiced a ton and they were very calculated.
That's a great word.
The right word. Like they were thinking through like what makes the most sense from like a pop perspective. And I feel like the things that you attach to more musically tend to feel like a little more organic. And there's a little bit of like of not that these bridges are fake in any way, but they're like a little more calculated of like what is like the best pop bridge that we can come up with.
Yes.
As opposed to like what makes the most sense based on what we've done musically.
Contextually in the song, maybe. Yeah. Yeah, totally. I think that's a fair way to explain it. And like, again, that's a really to be fair, there are definitely going to be some bridges in this album that I'm like, that bridge rules.
Good.
That totally
I'm very pro bridge.
Juxtaposes what I'm saying. So it's not across the board. It's just there were a few throughout this album that I was like, why is that there?
Interesting.
For my ear, subjectively. But Josh, I'm here for it, man. Like, defend your position. Like, do you like this bridge?
I'll be standing on the bridges. I
don't know, guys. By the end of this, it might be water under the bridge.
Oh, there are a lot of bridges on this record.
If Josh is going to defend this, you know, he might need some help. We might need to wake the regiment.
That's great.
Nicely done.
Thank you. Track number 4, Wake the Regiment.
Again. So wake the regiment. This is what we live for. This is what we live for. So wake the regiment. We're taking back what's home is what we died for.
Great intro.
I like this. This is so good. Yeah, all their intros were so good.
They rule.
This It's Never Been This Cold Before is such a classic, like, emo pop punk line.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Did they talk about the temperature?
Yeah.
Check. Emo line.
Okay, I'm gonna get to this later. I have a whole thing about emo pop punk song formulas. But okay, I like this song a lot.
Yeah,
but this was the first song that I wrote. Like, this album definitely has that first album kind of thing. Like, one, you can tell that they were really young when they made it. And maybe all the songs are kind of the same song.
A little bit.
Nah, what are you talking about?
Just
What are you
a
talking about,
little
man?
bit different. Like, you could have cut 3 songs from this record, had the exact same experience. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. I feel like this relates to what I was saying about like the tone poem, like a pop punk. Like,
Right.
they know how to do it. They're so good at it.
Right.
That's kind of the problem. Is like they do it so well over and over and over again. This
Right.
like, in such a similar way. And
Yeah,
you're right.
it's
This song
almost
is
like a-
is good proof of that.
It's almost like a little bit of like you want to leave them wanting more. You know, like it was just like, okay, like we got it. We got the kind of breakdowns. We got the whoa-ohs.
Yep.
Yeah, and they're like
Whoa.
big
got-
transcendent choruses.
We get
Which
the
are
half times. Yeah. It's funny though. I wrote without even realizing, I was like, dude, I live for straightforward emo songs with a little bit of screaming in the bridge.
Yeah.
And then I realized the line that they were screaming is like, this is what we live for. And I was like, yes, okay, this is what
It
I
is.
live for.
Got you.
This is exactly what I
Got
live
you.
for.
That's great. How perfect.
Like, I didn't even realize. I like
so good.
That was
wrote
you
with
screaming
no
that, wasn't
irony.
Yeah.
Or what's that?
that was you screaming it, right? You're like,
I wish.
Yeah,
I
it's-
might have.
think I
I
kinda
might
like
have
this box.
a tin record if I if I did screaming vocals on this.
A tin record. That's good.
I love this song. Oh, by the way, have we hit any of either of y'all's favorite songs?
nope.
Not yet.
Interesting. Okay.
Have we hit
What
yours?
about you?
No.
Okay.
Morning Air is very close.
Okay.
Yeah.
I figured it had to be in the running.
Yeah,
It was very close,
I thought so.
Yeah.
but it is not my number one on this record.
Oh, looking forward to finding
Mm.
out. This is the one where I made the sense where I realized and started catching on to like the good sense of like rhythmic dynamics that they have of like
yes.
I feel like they're always switching up things. Like it's never just like the same kind of like tired beat. I think they
Yes.
probably go to the same things a lot. So they
Right.
might do the same kind of things in every song, but it's never
Yeah.
just like this part is just going to be like a whole steady, straight rhythm kind of thing. Like they switch it up a lot, which is good.
totally.
Because
Yeah, I
otherwise
feel
you get
like
really boring.
they have like a tool belt of like all the great punk pop and like screamo things, right? And they just sort of find unique ways in each song to use them in different orders or in different
Yes. No, I think that's a
like-
great way to say that.
in different contexts. Yeah. This one again was one that like I love the chorus. It has this really cathartic feel overall. I love the screaming. And still the bridge is like it kind of falls flat for me. It doesn't square with the rest of the song. It feels like
Interesting.
somebody's making a puzzle of a song and like they find a piece and like half of the piece works against another piece and it locks in really great. And then the back half of the piece
You're
doesn't
really
fit
winning
at
Kylan over on
all.
this puzzle metaphor.
Yeah, I knew that would work for you.
Hmm,
You see what I mean?
puzzles.
I
Okay,
can totally
yeah,
see this.
yeah.
So it's like a
I
flat
encountered this
side
the other day.
where there's like a warped kind of like bowed out side on the other one, and it's just
Right.
like they're having to shove it in there to make the bridge work.
Oh, that's
Not
the
that it's
worst thing you can
bad.
do.
I
No, that
know.
is.
Well,
That
it
is the
fits
worst thing you
somewhere
can
else.
do with a puzzle.
That's my whole point. Is like that bridge fits somewhere else in the puzzle
Interesting.
of this album, just not there.
So that might be interesting. I mean, like we literally none of us have any sort of extra free time, but if we did, it would be interesting to sort of like instead of doing
a
an alternate
bridge.
track list, do an
Yes.
alternate bridge
Bridge list. That's what I'm saying, man. That's what I'm here for.
All right,
Make it
TJ, on your next day
the
off,
Church
that's
Jams
that's,
now
that's your homework.
bridge.
Small homework.
Game of bridge.
Game of bridge brings a whole new meaning to the phrase.
Right.
Yeah,
All right, we got anything else on Wake the Regiment?
good.
Cool. All right, let's move on to track number 5, One Eye Open.
So don't go yet. We fall asleep under the windowsill. Wake up to the morning light as it drifts across the road. Don't forget better days.
I think this is my favorite one on the album.
Ooh,
This is
I like
close
this
for
one
me.
a lot.
Can I tell you my first big note that I think you guys would appreciate?
Do it.
Well, besides more sweet, sweet bass,
yep.
And the so don't go yet is just like so good. This is the YA version of What Sarah Said by Death Cab.
That's the best thing I've heard all week.
Right? Like this is like the like a little more on the nose.
This is the Hunger Games version.
Like yes, it's the more like 14, exactly what I was saying before of like teenagers can understand the metaphors and can do that. It's like about a hospital room and all this stuff. But yeah,
so
it's the YA version of What Sarah Said.
So great. For our listeners that don't know, that's a Death Cab for Cutie song from the album Plans,
which came out I think the same year as this record.
Oh my god, it did.
Yeah,
that's fantastic.
This song felt the most like cinematic to me, like lyric, like I could see.
I think that's why I like it so much.
The 2005 oversaturated camera look, like I could see the music video. Yes, I could see it all in like slow motion. A lot of the guitar lines in this remind me of May a lot.
Totally.
Like early May.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I feel like the song was just in general like very well sculpted. It feels one of the more intentional ones that we've heard so far, I'll say. As far as parts, lyricism, like theme, vocal performance is really solid. Like it's just a very well-rounded song.
Yeah.
I think that's why I like it.
That's okay. This is what's so funny to me is this is the one where the bridge didn't make sense to me.
Really?
Oh.
Yeah, because I thought this whole like little like snare roll breakdown that we just heard like should have gone on way longer. It felt like it wasn't long enough. It felt kind of disjointed. It felt like it was plopped in from another song.
Okay, yes. Okay. So for me, like the performance of the song in general feels a little live, a little flubby even, especially the drum part. But actually, that endears me to it more because it feels very authentic. And that then mirrors the lyrical subject matter. Like,
interesting. Okay.
Because it's very heartfelt and it's very like you're in the hospital bed and I'm just like hoping that you make it.
Like this feels like a lot like more personal than Wake the Regiment or Move This City.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like it feels like it comes from a much more personal place.
As opposed to just being like, let's write something anthem-y. Like,
yes.
Right.
Right. For anthem's sake. This is more like real. And therefore like the performance that, to your point, Kylan, is a little like goofy sometimes and like kind of lacking maybe in certain areas, but it's like it feels very human. I especially was like locked into the drum performance the few times that I listened to this one, and it's the one that feels most live and most like kind of weird and human, and like I like that. That's what's
so funny to me because that's like the one thing that disconnected me from this song was like it felt like it felt like the bridge felt like it was made up of like 4 different parts.
Oh.
Right.
And they couldn't decide which one they wanted to do for the bridge.
That's what kept making it interesting though, because they keep going into different things is what I liked. And like they brought it down and then like bring it back
I think
up
you're both
again,
right.
And like
I think you're both right. And like what TJ was saying of like it feels more live. But to me it feels live in the way of like a worship song or something, and you're going down and the drummer is just kind of doing his own thing, but like kind of playing catch up, but also kind of doing it, also kind of leading into something else. It's like when you're building up and you're about to like hit a big part and then you miss it, so you just like kind of keep going and you keep going like and then the like so yeah, that's so funny because exactly.
No, I guess Josh and I liked that. I don't know.
No, I specifically wrote in my notes that I really love this bridge.
That's
cool.
So funny.
Like, and I definitely want to call out the please stay part at 2:40 because like where Kevin's like yelling please stay and like they bring a do 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 and like the building. I love that part.
So all I had to say, I do love this song, and this was also in the running for my favorite song on the record.
Yeah,
Ooh.
cool. And what I also like about it is like the dynamic change, because like I feel like this is maybe also one of Kevin's more unique vocal performances on the album, because he goes to that head voice of that one eye open, and then he calls back to it at the end. And I thought that was a really cool move to like introduce that falsetto kind of like intimate, and it's a very intimate subject, right? Like this,
right?
Are you gonna make it through your hospital experience or whatever it is?
Mm-hmm.
And then to land there again at the end of the song, like it feels very vulnerable and very brave, and I think all that wrapped up in this kind of like live, kind of messy but cool, interesting performance made this song really work for me.
It's a good song, man.
It's a good one.
It's a good song. All right, let's move on to track number 6, Price for Love.
Go out in my corner of the world tonight.
Okay, this might be a little embarrassing, but this might be the first noticeable delay guitar that I ever heard.
Really?
Do you like remember hearing it and be like, what is that?
Yes, because
why is that embarrassing?
I don't know, because delay has been used for, a long time.
I can totally see how like 14-year-old Kylan will hear this and be like, what is that? Oh, that's delay.
Yeah, I can't think of the first
I get it.
Like
I
time
totally
I
get
would
it.
have noticed.
Yeah, this is the first where I was like, what is that? That is really cool. Because I was like learning how to play guitar and had an electric guitar. And I was like, oh, my guitar doesn't make that sound. How do you make that sound?
How do you do that? Yeah. I think that's really cool. I think that's neat that you can like kind of call back to a specific song that you're thinking like, oh, this might have been the origin of like Kylan understanding delay. That's really neat.
Yeah, because mine probably would have just been like "You Won't Relent" by Jesus Culture or something like that, like something of that, like the worship in like 2003 or 4. So
I'm trying to see if it's online. I don't think it. Oh yeah, okay. To the point where there is a short film that my friends and I made.
Wow.
In high school that like won some like competitions, and I did the entire score for it.
I know this one.
And the last song on it.
These are even like the same chords from that song, Kylan.
Yeah, no, I know.
Those were like the same chords.
No, I know.
That's bonkers, man.
You'll hear when the electric guitar comes in. It's very much that kind of delay guitar.
Oh yeah, the straight digital delay. What are you playing this on? You have like a DD4 or something, a DD6.
Yeah, I think so. I think it was a DD6.
Who's dressed up in the robot costume?
My friend Sean.
Shout out to Sean for playing a great, really terrifying robot.
I'm really convinced.
Yeah,
and the score really brings it home.
So maybe we'll post a link to this in the show notes because it's just really funny. So yeah, I was obsessed with this delay guitar sound.
Nice.
Very nice.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. A quick lyrical note I just wanted to say, I love that like I don't know if this was intentional, but I feel like it should have been if it wasn't. Because they say the lights go out in my corner of the world and so do the lights in your eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And that feels like a direct reference to the song before. Like keep one eye open, keep the lights in your eyes open,
right.
like and on, and stay with me, stay awake, stay alive, and then this is like really bringing the mood down, but in an effective way. Like it's like the lights go out. And so a line that might have been kind of hokey and maybe wouldn't have landed quite as well.
Right.
But with good sequencing, for me, actually really worked.
Yeah, I love that you caught that.
Yeah.
Man, look at that. It's like what we do on this show,
great.
guys.
I know.
This is what we do the show for.
That's why
I'm
we
on
do
the
it.
show. I'm on the show being like, wow, TJ, great stuff, man. That's so good. That's so good.
Josh, what were you gonna say?
Yeah,
You were
what were
about to
you-
say something.
I was gonna say, guys, this is my favorite song.
This is your
right.
favorite song?
No, it's not.
Okay.
It's not.
I was like, wow, okay. I mean, I know you just got done with church,
I
so I
did.
wasn't going to question you.
I thought maybe the delay got you, like Kylan's delay story.
Just a
spoke to you.
2005 straight digital delay just really hits me, you know? No, I'm an analog delay guy.
I know, you love
Okay.
your analog
Okay.
delay.
Respect.
This is
Yeah.
a song that I always wanted to sing this song at youth group, but there's no way in hell I could have hit any of these notes in
Yeah,
high
man.
school.
Dude,
Like
when
his voice is like really great. I don't
Yeah.
love this song. Like I really kind of like this might be my least favorite, but his vocal performance is freaking great.
Yes.
No,
Can we just talk
yes,
about
you're
that
right.
that long note that he hits on time on like I think it's at like 308 and he kind of like crackles out at the end like his voice kind of like falls out and crackles out in this amazing way. I don't know how they got that. I don't know what like I feel like it was one of those where like they had him do the take like 10 times and this was the 10th and he was
Right.
spent.
And it was the
And they were
last
like,
time that he had it in him, but
That
he
was
had it.
amazing, Kevin. Thank you. You're done. And he was like,
Those harmonies are
"Thank you."
really good too. Yeah.
Yeah, the harmonies are great.
Oh, yeah.
Uh,
No, with this song, I'm like, I understand like the point that this track is being on like a 2005 like Christian record, like right in the middle, and I think it's
Totally.
like in the perfect place
yes,
of the record for this song to live.
Type of song, yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, but I just don't really like the song. But I'm like, it
Yeah,
it
I
does
agree.
the right thing in all those regards. But I'm just kind of like, like
completely.
I could cut this.
I get it. I will say like yeah, the sequencing of this record was really good, especially for a first record. Like it seemed like more thought was put into like the type of song that was in each place.
Mm-hmm.
As opposed to a lot of first records, but
Yeah, especially with those interconnected lyrics. I don't know.
agree.
Again, I don't know if I'm giving them more credit than they deserve, but like, I thought it was cool.
I did have when I was in middle school or high school, and I wanted to like have a band. This is like before I played anything or when I was like, this is a very Josh thing to do, but kind of not at the same time. I was like, there should be a band. I should do a band where every record, it's like I'm gonna have like all these songs, but then the title track is whatever song the title track is in the sequence is corresponds to how many albums it is. Like on my first album, the title track is gonna be the first song, and on the second album, the title track is the second song, and then third, fourth, all the way down the line. I'm like, someone should do that. I'm like, I'll
Josh,
do that.
No one will ever revoke your music nerd card. Can I just tell you that?
I mean that's the most Josh.
This is
thing.
like 15,
it's like
16-year-old
platinum.
Josh being like, someone should do this. I should do this.
I just have to say, I'm so glad that you are who you are,
Me too.
because this is the kind of shit that I appreciate.
I
Because
love it.
you could use this same kind of like mental energy towards like doing fantasy football or something, but you
Totally.
instead choose to expend all of this
Nope.
mental energy
You're fighting
for
the good
these kinds
fight.
of things, and
Oh,
I just
yeah.
love it, man.
Me too.
I absolutely love it.
Yep, that's what I was thinking.
That's
Man.
so good.
Back when I was into title tracks. Now I'm over that.
Yeah.
Right. You like it when
Right.
it's
So
not
now
the
it would
title
have to
track.
be
I like the inferred title track.
right, exactly. Okay, so the last thing I had about this is not actually about this song. This is what I was alluding to before
in
we
typical
started,
Kylan
TJ.
fashion. Yep.
It's a great place.
Where
Can I get off?
think around like 2011, 2012, I believe that I cracked the formula for writing like the perfect emo pop punk hangout song.
Okay.
How do you do
Okay,
the thing?
and I really thought about it because on this song he says the lights go out in my corner of the world tonight, and so I realized if you want to write, because there are a couple different types of like emo songs, but a big staple of the genre is the like think of Soko Amaretto Lime by Brand New, the like we're gonna stay 18 forever, the kind of like hangout song, right? Of like these nights will never end, we're never gonna grow old, the kind of Peter Pan esque, a big part of that is you start with the word tonight, right?
It's all about tonight.
You gotta use the word tonight. Tonight is probably, and I have yet to do actual research on this, but I feel like tonight is the word that is most used within the emo genre.
Well, it's so easy to rhyme with.
Exactly.
Sets you up for
it's
so
a great
much.
starting point. And then from there, you extrapolate to either, like we talked about before, you talk about the temperature. So you talk about the weather, the stars, or the ocean. And then you talk about how much you love your friends tonight, and then either the stars, the weather, or the ocean. And to the point where like I was thinking about this and I forgot. I'm so incredibly glad that Josh is our resident archivist, because I was talking to Joe today. So Joe and I wrote a bunch of silly songs when we were in like right out of college, like dropped out of college.
Yeah, what?
Including like Shake Those Fingers.
Shake Those Fingers. I remember that one.
Was our
that
big
was
one?
bop.
So TJ, I don't know if you've heard
one?
this.
Got a lot of radio
As
play.
if it's like top charts.
I don't know, dude. I just looked. I put that song on SoundCloud in like 2012, and it's got like 1,000 listens or something. But we decided we wanted to write a song basically using this formula, like making fun of this genre, like lovingly making fun of like emo hangout songs. And we wrote a song called BFFHXC parentheses tonight.
Yes.
So I'm gonna play it for you guys here. I'm not gonna play the whole thing. And I think if Josh, if you're okay with it, maybe we use this song to play out the episode.
Sure.
Because otherwise no one will hear this. But
yeah.
I just love it so much. And I'm so glad that you had this song, because Joe and I are so ADD. Neither of us have copies of this.
These are the nights that I won't forget. I'll never forget these times. Tonight we be racing through the night and kicking up fights, carrying Janie down the street, dancing to the beats. The strangers won't know what hit them when we come around.
But it hits all of these staples.
Checks the
And
boxes.
the whole point of it was to check off these boxes.
Chekhov's gun, these boxes.
Chekhov's daddy.
daddies, these boxes. We'd be racing through the night. Jamie?
Oh yeah,
That's
that was another
really
thing.
catchy, though.
Oh
That's
yeah,
so
oh
catchy.
yeah. Another thing, yeah, you have to give a specific person's name.
Jamie's a good one, too.
It can be a guy or a girl. The thing is, we didn't know a Janie at the time, and that was part
Janie.
of the Janie. Yeah,
Jamie works better because
okay.
it could be either.
Jamie
right,
does
TJ?
work, but I think
Yeah.
we said Janie. But we don't know anyone named
Don't
that.
have a Janie in your lives.
But that's part of it. That's part of this like
But we all
style
know
of
one.
song of like if you give like a very specific memory and a very specific name, then like people are gonna be into it.
I mean, dude, this song is basically fun.
Right.
Tonight,
Another tonight
we
song.
are young.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's set the world on fire. We can burn brighter than the sun. This is fun. This is you're right. It's the formula, man.
Yeah. Oh, I think we talk about Blink-182.
Oh, the sunrise. Nice
Weather.
mention. Full circle. We went from tonight to this morning.
Exactly. Yeah. Can we please just put this at the end of the episode, Josh? Because
yeah. For sure.
But I mean, like,
Skate into the new Blink song.
oh, there it is. I mean, like,
Your
Nate
voice is
Roos
so
actually like
different.
effectively capitalized on the formula that you also figured out.
Yes.
yeah.
So,
And then
like,
a year
you're
later,
right.
he had had Tonight by Fun.
Oh yeah, and then you have to have
Right.
gang vocals.
Totally. It's an important part of the formula.
We can.
And you got to talk about cars, hanging out in parking lots.
Oh yeah.
All right,
That's all you do.
right. That's about it.
For
Thank
some
you for letting me
reason.
go on that tangent. But
we can cut this, but my original, I guess, idea for Trivial Trivia that I was going to do, I guess I did think of it in cities, but what I was going to do in the Sadie Hawkins pod episode, because it was my 1st one that I was editing, I was just going to like come on and be like, hey guys, did you know Kylan and TJ came up with a band called the Dudes or the Nose Rockets, and then like just play songs that y'all wrote together, and then be like, and they're like, they're not gonna know this is in here because I'm editing this episode.
that's
so
really funny.
You can still surprise us with that.
yeah, you
Someday
should
I
still do
will.
that someday.
which
someday
would
I
be
will.
delightful.
Do
I look
it for
forward to that.
do it for all of our big episodes, 50th, 100th,
Perfect.
you know, whatever.
Oh,
yeah.
That'll make me
All right.
cheese.
So that actually transitions perfectly into track number 7, Death by Zanga.
Death
Which
by
is in itself
Sega.
a transition track.
Yeah. My only note is very funny title. Not every record needs interstitials.
I think it comes in a good place, like of transitioning out of like the serious kind of Price for Love to go into like, we're gonna go back to some more fun songs here. Like, I'm like, you can make the case to
Right.
cut it or keep it, but I'm fine with it being on there, you know?
Yeah, but I think 479 HXC does the same thing. Like you've got the funny song title,
That's true.
Yeah.
but
I think it's a
think
really
it is.
interesting like timestamp or like window into a specific era where like we're in a studio and we're like, man, let's just make a bunch of weird sounds with all this gear we have to like make it sound like what we think the internet sounds like. We'll make people hear the internet, you guys.
right.
What can you do?
That it is so 2005.
Cool.
That's so funny.
I'm not
I
saying
love
it's
that. Well,
necessary.
I mean, do we have anything else
I
to
just
say?
think it's
Right, yeah,
funny.
yeah, yeah.
It is.
But yes, I get that.
No,
Wild.
that's wild.
Well, okay, so let's just blast right on through into track number 8, 479 HXC.
Parentheses, through the night.
Chances on the road again. Chances on the road again. So sick and
Gang vocals intro.
Which I love.
So good.
479 was my old
Nice.
zip code / the wedding's zip code. That was the old Northwest Arkansas zip code. And that was a big thing that like white kids stole from hip hop in the early 2000s in the
Area codes.
Zanga era. Of like, oh, hey, we can shout out our zip codes.
Yep.
Oh yeah, it's so fun.
I
It's
love
pretty
this
cool.
song.
It's everything that I love nostalgically about like punk pop and specifically the wedding. Like the gang vocals, riffy guitars,
High energy.
great beat. Yeah.
I wish they kept the gang vocal thing
Yeah.
throughout. Like I wish it was a little more
too.
hardcore throughout.
Me
Like
too.
it was a little more punk. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like it ends up getting a little
Yes.
too pop for me.
Agreed. Also, the lyrics are like weirdly like Civil War Walt Whitman. It's like, we're a bunch of white kids in Arkansas in 2005. Let's think about stuff that sort of sounds like Civil War battle things. Like Wake the Regiment.
Yeah, that's
you
that
know?
theme
It's
is-
like there's
yeah.
this theme of like war and
He read All Quiet on the Western Front, and he's like, I'm
Band of
really
Brothers.
inspired, guys.
there it is. Yeah.
dude. Well, it's better than like Catcher in the Rye. I'll take the
True.
Walt Whitman All Quiet on the Western
Civil
Front
War.
as opposed to Navel Gazing Catcher in the Rye.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
That's
don't
true.
really have any other notes on this song. It's really fun. It's also an appropriate length.
Yeah,
less than 3
and it's a good one
minutes.
to like get
Yeah.
you into like side B of the record, which
Mhm.
spoilers, I like side B of this record a lot. So
Really?
I do.
Okay,
I do. It's where
fine.
the record comes alive for me.
Oh,
My only other note
okay.
on this song is that I like the kind of like tuned down at 225 as like Kevin's still singing and like the guitars kind of like, and I think the gang vocals are there too, and the guitars are just like descending. That's a fun little
Yeah.
thing.
They can
Yeah, I
spiral
like that.
out. Yeah, I love that part too.
Sweet. All right, guys. Well, let's go ahead and get in our cars and joyride on to track number 9.
Woo.
Joyride.
Won't you come and take a ride with me? I'll take you to all beautiful places that you've never seen, but you always wanted to.
I love this intro.
Yeah, it's solid.
Guys, this is my favorite
It's a
song.
weird little like synth. This is
It
your
is my favorite song.
Oh,
It's I feel like
we
it's
made
kind of
it.
basic. It's the obvious twist, but it's so good. That
But it
guitar
is,
riff.
and I wish there
like,
was
Get it.
more of the
ooh.
like.
Especially because it's that guitar line.
It's
man.
almost like-
I
Come on,
understand
so
why it's
fun.
Josh's favorite.
It's like pretty like Southern inspired.
It kind of is.
Yeah.
Like yeah, like you could almost hear that on a banjo. And
Totally.
yeah, it's pretty rad.
Yeah, that's fun. Also, like the outtake kind of like yells and like woo, like that stuff gives the song. It injects some good
Yeah,
energy
come
into the
on.
song. It gives it that joyride feel.
It's got some good space there in the drums and like the bass going off. Like it's so good.
Mhm. Yeah, that rhythm section showing up like you talked about,
Yeah.
Josh.
The rhythm section is solid.
Uh huh.
Yeah, this is. I don't have like a ton of notes on it, but I'm just like, it's just fun. Like, I don't know what else to say about it. It's my favorite. It's super fun. They're gang vocals.
Yeah. Well, this is the first and really only like that riff that comes in the beginning and then like after the chorus is the first that's like low on the guitar neck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like most of them are that kind of like Jimmy Eat World like octavey kind of thing, like where they're playing octaves and stuff. And this one's just like a straight up riff.
Yeah.
That's like really low on the neck. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, it's very bold.
Mhm.
Like it's a kind of like blatant lead line choice
Yeah.
that's very low on the neck, like you're saying.
Yeah. Nice meaty riff.
Also, there's that meaty. That's it. There's also that weird like secondary, almost like vocody vocal part. You know what I'm talking about?
Where?
It's somewhere in the first like minute and a half or 2 minutes, somewhere,
Hmm.
and it's very quiet.
I don't know, but I am hearing some more sweet
It's
bass.
there. And it's like it's simple. He's not doing anything crazy, but it's good.
No, but
And
it
the
sits
tone is good,
perfectly in
too.
the mix. It's like what you want to hear from like a picked bass.
Yeah.
Like a little tiny bit of overdrive.
A little dirt on it. Yeah.
Beautiful. Love it.
It's a pretty straightforward song, but so fun. TJ frozen or oh he's just listening. Okay. Okay.
No, I'm just like
Tell.
confused
Yeah.
because I like super heard it and now I'm not.
Yeah,
hearing
I don't
it.
know, dude.
It's not mixed very forward, so
Oh, is that it right there?
yeah, it's the high harmony part, but there's like some kind of weird effect on it.
Want to wear the crown? Won't you come and take a ride with me?
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
Wow, that is a good
See what I'm
catch.
saying?
Yeah, what is that, right at like
It's
140?
super bizarre.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like an effect on on just the harmony.
Yeah.
It's like phasey.
Wow, that is a really good catch.
Yeah, man. My ear caught it, and I was like, "That is
Yeah.
bizarre," and I like it, and I don't understand it.
Yeah, that's
Glad
great.
they put it in there.
Me
It feels
too.
very sci-fi.
Yeah.
Like if there were a punk pop musical that was also set in like 2049 Blade Runner world. Can we listen through to the end of track 9 actually?
Sure.
Because there's this weird moment at the end of track 9 that feels like a parody on an altar call. It feels like it's making fun of an altar call. I don't know if that's what's happening, but that's what it feels like to me. Which is fine. Like I'm fine with like making light of anything. Like you know,
Right.
any like everybody gets made fun of in this world. We can all joke about ourselves and each other and whatever.
Yeah, no.
But what's weird
yeah,
is
yeah.
then in track 10, it rolls in with the same piano line that they were using to create this like sketch.
Right,
feel.
right.
The same exact piano line, which is jarring to me because then it's very earnest and very like heartfelt, and that tonally is very confusing for me as a listener. I'm like, am I laughing?
Right.
Or am I aligned with
Serious.
you and like
Interesting.
really
yeah.
being like introspective? Tonally, I'm very confused. I don't know what to do here.
Well, and it's
I don't
because they
know.
have like
it was just a weird moment for
they
me.
have
in
like
the
that
album.
radio voice, like tuny kind of thing. Because that's like what gives you the altar call vibes, right?
It feels like a televangelist.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I hadn't picked
exactly.
up on that.
Some
Yeah.
like Billy Graham kind of stuff. Which like maybe it's not a riff or a
Maybe
bit.
that's the radio
Maybe
from the
it's, like,
Joyride. Still, like they're transitioning.
Could
be.
I like that.
That's a good take. That makes sense
Yeah.
more thematically to me.
Yeah, because like the transition between this one, because the piano starts, but you still have like the radio kind of going on. No, maybe.
Right. It's a cool transition. Like
Yeah,
I like the
I
idea.
did like it.
But I was just trying to figure it out thematically. And I was like, is it a parody?
Right,
Like
is it
it
funny or
earnest?
is
I
it-
was
yeah.
confused. So I like your take, Josh, that it's just like the radio is the bit.
All right, guys, let's move on to track number 10, But a Breath.
And one shot is all you got to make your mark, to make your difference. One chance, but you don't understand this. One shot is all you got to make your mark, to make your difference.
Well, this is the one that we got Sweet
Yeah,
Teason
we
vocals
do.
on, right, Josh?
That's
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah.
The piano is so pretty, and I just want it to be a real piano.
Yes.
And
I
it
agree.
sounds so fake piano,
Oh, yeah.
so 2005
Mhm.
fake piano.
Also, the string pads are equally bad, so it kind of doubles down on the fakeness of the whole thing. It's like you've got a good song. Compositionally,
Right.
it's great.
Yeah, and it's really
they can't
pretty,
afford
and I
real
love-
strings, guys. It's a first album.
No, I know, but it's like
You're right.
I would have preferred
That's
a
fair.
way stripped
That's fair.
down, like just like real.
Yeah,
piano.
put on an
But
upright.
I know that wasn't like
True.
that's like it's so just like of its time.
True. Yeah, everybody was playing like Yamahas.
Yeah,
2005.
I mean, they were doing it because they'd already done at this point. So Mark Townsend's got a
Yeah.
piano there for sure. Whatever Teeson's recording
right.
on. So
It's like, come on,
come on,
Mark.
man, pull out
Pull
the
out the baby
upright.
grand,
You know
buddy.
You got one. Like,
Where's it at? So, Josh, why do you like this
I
one?
like it. I mean, I feel like I understand that it could maybe be like a little like kind of cheesy and stuff like that, but I don't know. I like it. It feels like earnest. I like the message of it. I mean,
Mhm.
it's pretty simple, but it
Mhm.
still holds true. Life is but a breath. Don't waste it. I like.
Yeah.
Obviously,
It's
it's
a good message.
Teeson's on here, which is cool. Like, it's surprising that they used him so like understated. I like the harmonies that he
Yeah,
uses, that
sparsely.
he adds, and it's like a good dynamic. But I'm
Yes.
surprised like that he didn't take the second verse
Yeah, I really
Yeah.
thought he would get more of like a
for
feature
sure.
moment.
Which
I
is
was
like is cool
surprised.
because otherwise it's like it's still like the wedding song. It's not like this is our song with Matt Thiessen. He's like he just like kind
Sure.
of sings on it. But yeah, I was like both ways I I enjoy it for like, it would have been cool if he sang the whole second verse, but it's also cool that he like just had some really nice harmonies here. So
Yeah, I think my main problem with this song is that I agree with you, Kylan. Like, I wanted it to be real piano.
I agree with that for sure.
The string pads, like.
No, I like the
wanted them to be real
Yamaha
strings.
guys. I
Obviously,
like the
we
fake
can't
Yamaha.
have everything.
You like that?
No, but I also like
Josh loves all the
I
fake
don't-
stuff.
Oh, yeah.
All the fake effects, the digital delay.
our beautiful producer Josh loves fake things.
The less real it
Samples
sounds, the
and-
better.
But the other thing that like kind of like turned me off on this one was like, oh man, Kevin, I love you, buddy. I think you're an incredible vocalist and a good writer and a great singer, but like your performance on this song, it was so nasally. It felt
Yeah, that was part
Like
of what I
some,
didn't
like-
love too.
Tom DeLonge moment where like you should have leaned into like Matt Thiessen.
Right.
Like Matt Thiessen did Matt Thiessen. You did like snotty, kind of like punk sounding vocals.
Yeah, it reminded me
And
of
that,
like
clashed.
a very like secondhand serenade, which is like
yes.
a poor man's dashboard confessional.
Yes. That's great. That's better.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
This is the poor man's
And
dashboard.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Poor man's dashboard.
Twice.
A poor
Twice removed.
Yep.
But it kind of grated on me, and like that bummed me out because I do like the song, and I like the theme, I like the message, and I even liked moments of the delivery. The harmonies are so
Mhm.
good.
I do like that they keep it
I don't
short
know.
and that it just kind of gets in and gets out, because I feel like this has, if they would have kept it going
Yeah,
longer,
This had potential
this
to be
would've got
like
real boring.
Way
and
longer,
I also like that they
Totally.
didn't get like big with it and like have the full band come in, because that would have just felt like, yeah, this is every other
Yes.
song that does this. So
Right.
I like that it's just like, it's just piano. There are some fake strings, which is unfortunate, but like it doesn't get
Yeah.
big, huge, like crescendo-y.
Yeah, but I like it. I like it where it is on the album. It
Yes,
once again
definitely.
speaks
Totally.
to really good
Good
sequencing.
sequencing.
Yeah.
Completely.
It is like but a breath in the middle of this, like in the back half of this
Yes.
record, you know. Sweet. All right, we ready to move on to track number 11?
Do it.
Hey man, that's all water under the bridge.
This
Kyle.
is all water under the bridge.
So this
Like, okay,
faux
Arkansas's finest jazz
jazzy
band.
intro, yeah.
That's literally what I wrote.
So I like what they're going
exactly what
for
I
here, but I don't think it was executed
Nah.
well.
Okay.
Like this
so
should have
here's
been
my-
since they already did Death by Zanga, they should have had this as just like an interstitial, like
It's
this whole little jazz
blue
part.
note kind of thing situation.
Yeah.
exactly. I think Clint was like, guys, can we be his legend during the I Am Hollywood phase
Right,
for
yeah,
like
yeah.
a
with the
second?
gypsy.
And then
Yeah, exactly.
the rest of the band was like, yeah, exactly. And the rest of the band was like, okay, let's try it. And he was like, oh shit, I forgot how to do a shuffle beat. I'm doing a straight beat for a second. Oh no, wait, I'm back to shuffle. Oh
Right.
no, wait, I'm straight
Well-
again. He had some struggles in this little intro section. Like he was going between shuffle and like straight beat. Like you can tell the punk drummer that he is.
Well, and this is what like
To his
every
credit.
young band and musician does. Like, cause I know I did this, and I think I'd done it with Kylan, where it's like, let's be jazzy. Like we're musicians.
Right,
Let's
yeah,
be
exactly.
jazzy. Like I just started playing
Eating
guitar. I can
world.
probably do some jazz, which is like that's the last
Right.
thing you can do.
It's like, oh, I just learned what
Yes,
seventh chords
exactly.
are.
I'm so jazzy, guys. I
I'm
play
a jazz
seventh
band
chords.
member now.
And so like that's like such a thing to do when you realize. Then you get older and you're like, oh, jazz is like the hardest thing you could ever do. Like, like
yeah, exactly.
Totally.
Exactly.
And it especially feels like a way to sort of like hide your deep cut ballad behind a jazz intro.
Right,
That feels like a move that a punk pop band would do. Like,
for sure.
well, we'll put a jazz intro in front of it and like we'll come off as intellectual. And
I feel like it comes off
And
as
look.
like
haha,
It's a
look
cool
at
song.
us. We're doing like, I feel like it's insincere, like a funny
Yeah,
kind of
for
sense.
sure.
It
Completely.
makes
For
it,
sure.
Like, what? Where's this? Is this
Which
funny?
is what's
right
funny
now?
because like as much
The
as
problem for me is it doesn't return to it.
right
never goes back to
it,
as
doesn't.
well. That's why I think it should have been its own like same as Death by Zenga. It should have been like a minute long, like
Mhm.
its own thing.
I feel like between
Yeah.
But a Breath and Water in the Bridge, which is kind of a more serious song, like I feel like it's
Right.
weird having that little like funny part for like 4 bars,
Right.
and then it's
What's so funny to me is like as much as I hate that, this is my favorite song on the record.
oh,
Is it really?
It really is. And
Defend your
another funny
position.
thing is I hate the mix on this on this song.
Oh, that's hilarious.
I think the mix could be a million times better. I feel like
What would you change?
the drums don't hit, the piano is still way too fake, but they go into these interesting parts with like the staticky vocals and then they have the really heavy guitars. The mix that they have for this record doesn't work for this song,
Yeah, right.
but this like reminds me a lot of like it's like a little bit Emery.
yes, it's very weak.
Some of these parts I get a little bit of like Cities era Anberlin of like what they're trying to do of like this epic kind of thing.
Yeah.
And the mix just doesn't support all of the ideas, but I love all of it. I
Sure.
love the vision of it. So
Yeah, that makes sense. Even the Postal Service drum break.
I love it, dude. I love it. I love the Postal Service drummer. Everything about it.
It made me think of like the way that Blindside uses electronic drums, and I was like, Blindside does it better. And that's not fair.
Yeah,
That's
right.
not fair. of me.
It's not.
It's not
It's
fair.
not.
But that's what it made me think of because like I didn't
Blindside does
remember
most
this.
things better.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Spoiler. But like I liked that they took a swing on this one. I want to say that.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
to
I
your
think that's
point,
what I love
Kylan,
about it.
like the vision. There is a lot of vision in this song, and it's very cool.
A
I
lot.
respect the big swing that
There's
they
a-
took, and it's
There's a lot of vision in the
know.
intro because there are 4 different intros for this song. There's like 4 different things. You're like, this could just be the
Yes.
intro. Oh, there's another one. Like,
or it could even just be the
it
song.
could, yeah, like,
Oh wait, no, it's the whole thing.
yeah.
I love it though. I also love that it's like, because it's got that, and we've talked about this before. It's got that last track energy, but it's the penultimate track.
Yeah.
It's not the last
Mhm.
track, and it
was
very
an
well,
interesting choice.
very well could be.
Yeah, I agree.
But I love it. I think it's a great
Wow.
song.
This is also, Kylan, the longest song on the record.
I know, dude.
Look at
I'm
you.
a multifaceted cinnamon roll of a
Look
man.
at you, man.
I don't know.
Being your own paradox.
I do
love
like
it.
that it is the only one that has like that programming, and it comes in just for like a second, and then they go back to just kind of like their. But yeah, this song does have like a lot of really good dynamics and like a lot of good vision and parts they get into. The intro, like just because of the jazz intro, and then like the 4 intros that they have, I'm like, this is too much, guys. But after that, the rest of the song is really good.
Yeah. I love
Yeah.
it.
Ho, ho, ho.
Well, guys, we've almost made it. We got one more song left.
Who's this song for?
It's for us at this point, getting through this whole album. This is last track number 12, Song for the Broken.
Song for the Kylan.
Don't give up on the hope that keeps you breathing. 'Cause after all is said and done, it's all your lonely heart has.
I did like that they ended on like a energetic, because I saw "Song for the Broken" as the last track, and I was like, "Oh man, it's gonna be like a slow acoustic-y." And
Yeah,
then,
exactly. You just assume it's
Oh,
going to be
yes.
this like dirgy,
Yep.
like piano ballady kind of thing, and
Ballad,
it's like,
yeah.
oh no, this is like,
This is
hey,
fun.
let's
It's
end
the
on a high
wedding.
note.
Yes.
They're back.
I was very relieved.
Yeah, I think it was a good move. Yeah, it feels on brand for them, you know.
I thought the song title was a little. I have this thing. It's kind of terribly generic, but I have this like the idea that I'm like, songs should never have song in the title. Like movies should never have movie in the title of the movie. Like I feel like we know what it is, guys. You don't have to tell.
Funny.
Like
I love that.
it's the whole man. I have a whole what is it?
That's pretentious as
the
fuck.
song
And I love it.
that song. This is my fight song. I'm like, you are singing a song that is the song. Is your song like? I'm like, no, that doesn't work for me. So yeah, song should not have the song title, and it's the word song in the title.
That's so funny. But it's a song for it's an anthem.
Come up with a better title. You could just call it
Josh.
For the Broken
I
or
get
something.
it.
I don't know. There's something
or
there.
The broken. Okay, but what does it sound like? Da, 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 da. I'll be your crying shoulder.
Oh, Edwin
and-
McCain.
That's what it sounds like. Yeah, it's been bugging me this whole time. I just figured that out. The chorus sounds, the melody, the first chunk of the melody sounds like, I'll be your crying shoulder.
I love that.
Sorry.
No, it's good. I like that.
No, don't be
Weird.
sorry. Don't be sorry, man.
Weird-
Don't
weird
apologize.
melodic-
There's no
Got
shame.
that. You founded
No
that
shame.
on the show too.
Yeah.
I thought Clint was going off on these drums on this song, which I was here for.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. He showed up
Yes.
on this track. Way to go, Clint.
It's like the perfect amount of fills for this kind of
Yeah.
music. You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
and it's all those.
100%.
It's all the bucket of fish
Yes.
fills.
Yeah.
Bucket of
The
fish.
rushed
Bucket of
punk
fish.
fills. Bucket of fish.
Yeah, I love it.
Dig it
I'm here
out.
for it. Dig it out. Dig it out.
Mhm.
Dig it out. Like, yeah, it's perfect.
Let's bring back Adventure Drums.
the
That
right
was a
energy.
great series. That was so good.
What?
Let's bring back Adventure Drums. That channel, the bucket of fish guy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
good.
I know. I don't have much else to say about this. It's a good ender.
Yeah, I like that.
Although it is the exact same, you could have switched this with "This Time I'm Leaving" or
And I'll kiss the morning.
Kiss the Morning. Yeah,
air,
exactly.
Song
But-
for the broken.
Nice.
But it's not. I'm not mad about it.
Look at this fun
Right.
bridge too.
And that's what I'm
guys.
saying.
Super fun bridge.
The bridge
Oh,
works on
good.
this one.
It
The
better.
bridge works on this one. They finally got it. No, I would say it's like 60-40. Like more bridges work than don't.
Okay, that's
for me
fair.
personally.
I'm fine. I'm
But it was
fine with
just
those
like-
numbers.
Huh?
A number of them in a row where I was like, I don't get.
Then
these.
side B happened, and you're
But
like,
then it was like
this is
they
it,
hit their
guys.
stride.
side B of this
Yeah,
record.
kind of.
I'm telling you.
You're not wrong, Josh. Yeah. Yeah, it's a great closer. Good energy.
Yeah. Okay, so final thoughts, you guys. What do you think overall? You want? I'll go.
Yeah,
first.
are we flopping?
How about
Are you
this?
flopping
I'll go
it?
first.
Lead
Do
us
it.
in.
So it is still definitely a bop for me. I will say, kind of like I said at the beginning, I think so much of it is like, and I don't know if it's, I didn't look into it much. I don't know if it's BPM or song key or what, but there's a lot of things that sound the exact same on this record.
Oh, yeah.
Sameness. Yep. Totally.
Which, like I said, you could have cut this record by like 3 songs and no one would be any the wiser. You know what I mean? Like, but still,
14-year-old Kylan would have
overall,
been the wiser, though.
I would have been very upset. But
Yeah, you'd be
still,
mad at
overall,
yourself.
man, like, you know, I think a lot of the lyrics are very like on the nose, but it's very much that like 14, 15-year-old thing of like introduction to metaphor. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
like it's starting,
totally.
it's like a good introduction to like listening to music that's like talking about bigger themes and bigger ideas.
Mhm.
So 14-year-old me 100% bopped it, best album of all time. Me, it's a little lower down on the list, but it's still a bop, man. It's still a bop. And if you know, if anyone that's listening is into like a lot of this era, like emo pop punk, and you haven't listened to this record, I highly recommend it, man. I think you know, there's not a lot of like new or interesting ideas on this record overall, but you know, I think it's a really important part of the puzzle of 2005 era, like pre MySpace era emo and pop punk.
Mhm. I love that.
Very nice.
So yeah, give it a listen if you haven't.
if you haven't listened to it along with us,
Yeah, right. Well, Josh, you did that poll.
That's true.
And, you know, there are people that
most
that
people
don't
listen after
that
the
don't,
episode.
Yeah.
that at least
So
responded.
go ahead and give this a listen.
Which is kind of cool because then they're like letting us contextualize
very
it for
much
them.
Right.
Which is
Yeah.
kind of fun.
That is interesting. All right. Who's
Respect.
next?
I'll go. Why
Okay,
not?
all right.
I'll roll off of your energy, Kylan, because I
Cool.
like what you're saying. I think like I like your idea of like kind of introducing the concept of metaphor in music, and I would say it's like the wedding rites with like light metaphor or metaphor light, or like kind of very straightforward analogy, which is an interesting thing to say. But it's all these things.
That is funny.
It's all these things that are like they're not quite this kind of lofty lyricism. They're just more like relatable, but with a little like a side of analogy or a side of metaphor, which is nice. And I think it's effective, especially for the genre. And I think that's why I was able to wholeheartedly bop this album.
Wow.
Because
I am surprised.
Yeah. Yeah, I really came away from it feeling like this is a pop punk tone poem of, the highest degree. And what I mean is like with a lot of pop punk, like I'm trying to find a way that's like diplomatic to say this. I don't have like the most heady lyrical expectations.
Sure.
I just don't,
sure.
right? Because that wouldn't make sense. That wouldn't be fair. That'd be really impressive to try to fit in some like really next level metaphysical lyricism in some pop punk music from 2005.
On a first
But
record
like,
too.
I don't even know if I want that. Like, I kind of just like the Wedding self-titled album being exactly what it is.
That's so
I kinda just
surprising to me
love
because you're
what
such
it
a
is.
lyric guy, and I thought for sure you would take umbrage with the lyrical content of this. But I love that
Yeah.
perspective.
Take a drink.
That
Kylan used an SAT word.
Brett.
Take umbrage.
Umbrage.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just trying to kind of come at it on its own terms.
I like
I
that.
think.
That's really good. Yeah.
And
Like a
and
great
appreciate it for
place
what it is, and I
to
think
be.
it's really great for what it is. I think it's a solid pop punk album from 2005. I really enjoyed it. There were more songs on this album that I remembered than I thought I would,
right.
and so that was nice. And the choruses were so hooky. Like Josh mentioned, the rhythm section was really great. I loved Kevin's vocal performance across the album.
It was so
really
good.
nice.
It was so like earnest and
Yeah.
and, yeah, I believed
And
it.
like the gang vocal moments were so fun. Yeah, I just had a good time. It was a very fun album for me. So that's why it's an easy bop for me. It's 'cause
Cool.
I had a good time.
All right. Wow.
Look at
Yeah,
that.
that's surprising.
I am surprised.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
there you
right.
go.
Josh,
Here
where are you
for
at?
it. Well, basically, when Kylan was texting me earlier today about all the stuff that you mentioned at the top of the part B of like, does this like bring anything new to the table? Is this important or whatever? I'm like, that's basically my analysis of this. Like, critically, I can't be like, guys, the Wedding self-titled gets into like uncharted territory for pop punk, and
Right,
like
right.
they do groundbreaking
right.
things. Like, it's nothing that you haven't really heard before, and it's nothing that
Right.
like you're gonna be like, wow, I'm super impressed. But it's really fun. And that was
Yes.
for me going into it for the first time ever in 2023.
Hmm.
That was enough. And I'm gonna bop it. I gotta say,
Hell yeah.
when I first listened to it, I was like, oh, this is, and because I'd been listening to Polarity, and which I gotta say, the
Right.
difference between what they did on this record to Polarity is crazy. That they just in 2
Mhm.
years
yeah.
went from this record to Polarity, which is
Right.
crazy
Yeah,
impressive. Yes,
absolutely.
good job, guys. But so I was like listening to Polarity a lot, and I went to this. I was like, oh, this is a little rough, and it is, but it's not. It's more not rough than it is rough. So like I had a really good time with it. Really enjoyed it. Yeah, critically, I'm not going to be like, this is. You got to listen to this. It has my critical stamp of approval, but it's got a
Right,
fun
right.
stamp
Sure.
of approval.
But it's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
last note
Yeah.
is the last note that I said is the wedding saved by the bridge. I love the bridges on this record, guys. Great
That's
bridges.
so funny.
That's hilarious.
I will say
Uh,
though, I'm a little curious if Josh, if you're giving this a bop to supplant, whenever we cover FM Static, to sort of ease my
I gave a bop
my
to you.
critical
You give a bop
analysis.
to me.
Yeah, exactly. It feels a little like political horse trading here. Like,
for
all
like.
right, hey, remember, I gave the wedding a bop.
Share for share.
Please don't bop this record. That meant so much to me in high school. Please don't flop it.
I'm Switzerland here, y'all.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be as Switz as I can.
that's so funny. A Switz.
It's great.
Well, cool. I think we did it, y'all.
It has been done.
Talked about this album. I don't think there's anything else except for, if you enjoyed this, go check out our Patreon, patreon.com/churchjamsnowpodcast, where we have all kinds of bonus content. And yeah, please tune in next week because you'll hear us interview Kevin Keane from The Wedding, and we'll talk
the
about
best.
more of this
It was
stuff.
So good.
So from all of us here at CJN, may all your favorite bands stay together, and peace out, Monfers.
Here comes the bridge. Josh loves the bridge.
Nice. I do love you.
Cause these are the nights that I won't forget. I'll never forget these times. Tonight we be racing through the night and kicking up fights, carrying JD down the street, dancing to the beats. The strangers won't know what hit them when we come around, dancing to the music that we made. Don't want us to go, I just want us to stay best friends forever. Tonight
Yeah, this song goes out to all my friends. Nights when the parties never end. Got this music from my guitar hanging in the back of your car. Parents wouldn't let us go outside. We stuck out anyway to watch the sunrise. Tonight.
Cause these are the nights that I won't forget. I'll never forget these times. Tonight
Staying out all night long, skating to the new Blink song. Friends forever, friends for now, friends always, though we don't know how. We'll stick together through thick and thin, cause these are the nights that'll never end. Tonight.
hitting up the Taco Bell drive-thru. It's Friday, so they're open till 2. Sitting on the back of my car, looking at the mother flipping star. You listening to Hawthorne Heights. Wish my parents never tore my misfits posted last night. I'm grounded, but well, Skype anyway.